Hey guys, how's it going? We're going to jump straight into a drum cover. Still haven't decided which one it was. Oh, how's it going, guys? What a very energetic song. Absolutely love playing that one. We've just started playing that recently in New Rocks, and it always goes down well. People absolutely love that song. It's definitely one of the throwbacks. How are we all doing, guys? Welcome back to another stream. It's been a couple of weeks since I think the last one. And yeah, a couple of things have happened in the meantime, so I'll tell you all about that. But there's a couple of things I want to do in this stream today that are really important because it's something that's going to lead on to either other streams or other videos that I'm doing for the channel. And obviously you can see I've got a new little stack up here, so we'll be talking a little bit about that. But the biggest thing is that we're going to go in over today is the fact that I am using, for the very first time I might add, a completely new set of not Evans heads. Now, if anyone's been following my channel for any length of time, you'll know that I am Evans through and through. I've always loved Evans heads. But I thought I'll give something else a go. I want to try and do something for the channel to sort of see, you know, what else is out there. I've known about Code for quite some time. I heard some initially not so great things in the beginning, but over the years, the forums and people in the circles seem to really be digging them now. Like they seem to have really upped the game, and the quality of the heads seem to be way, way better. So I thought now's the time to jump in and just give it a try. I re-headed the kit a few days ago, and yeah, well, Evans definitely got some competition. But I want to get your opinion. This is the thing. This is one of the things I want to do for this stream today. Is I want your opinion on the sound of this kit, because I've done, like I say, I've done tops and bottoms. I've done the whole kit. So it's snare, 3 rack toms, and the kick, and like I say, batter and resonance for everything. And I just want to have a quick shout out to Mike at Codeheads. You know, I got in touch with him. It was actually at the UK Drum Show last year. I spoke to one of the other guys at Code. Mike was busy at the time, but then I emailed him. We got chatting, and I told him exactly what I was looking to do, was do a review, a complete review for the channel. And he was really nice. You know, he kind of hooked me up with a bit of an artist discount so that, you know, I could get hold of him. You know, it wasn't going to break the bank or anything like that. I mean, Codeheads are a lot cheaper than Evans and stuff anyway, so that was pretty good. So I'm very thankful for that. And I've got the opportunity now to actually give these things a proper good go. So like I say, let me know what you guys think about the sound of these, but let's get to the chats. Now, I had a little bit of a problem before trying to actually load up Twitch, because if you try and stream to Twitch in too high of a bit rate, it doesn't like it, and it just doesn't want to know. So it sounds good, but there was delays. What kind of delays? Let's go back to the top anyway, because I've not even welcomed everybody. Michael Bennington, Dash, also known as my mum, Anthony Manzano, SP1 Epiphany. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. First off, can you please play She Sells Sanctuary? That's a mouthful, isn't it? She Sells Sanctuary by The Cult. Now, I've not played that song in probably going on 20 years. We played it in one of my old bands, and yeah, it's an odd song to for sure. But yeah, we'll definitely add it to the list, and we'll see if it's something I can do later on. Can you play Rainbow in the Dark by Dio? So there's a lot of older songs going on here. It's not less than the modern stuff, but yeah, that's another one that I will most definitely give a bash. Yeah, as Mimo just pointed out, I actually played it at my mum and dad's silver anniversary wedding do that we had. That was interesting. It went down quite well. I think everyone seems to quite like it. Oh, sorry, I'm getting a phone call. What else have we got? Oh, my mistake. I didn't mean delays. Like the sound, it was great, but the kick drum had a very hump. Is that supposed to be thump? So it was very, very loud. Yeah, I mean, if I just let's just hear it without music or anything. Yeah, admittedly, it's a little difficult to get everything balanced again. Once you've put new heads on a kit, and in particular the kick drum, I have actually lowered the gain on it. But the problem with that is that I usually have quite a lot of padding in it because I use the trigger as well. So I like to have a little bit of like the best of both worlds. So I kind of still get the sound of the acoustic kick, but then also get the trigger as well. And at the moment, there is no padding in it whatsoever. It's literally just both heads. That's it. So it is very boomy, very, very thuddy, and has got quite a lot of sustain to it, but I really like the attack that's on this. I do actually need to retune it ever so slightly, because I noticed that when I posted a drum cover yesterday, and what I did notice when I was mixing that was that they just needed a little bit of the mids scooping out and some of the lows just boosting ever so slightly. It wasn't too bad, but it just needed a little bit of tweaking. Alec, how long has it been for you to play Rainbow in the Dark by Dio on your drums? I can't say I've ever played it. I know it really does feel like a cardinal sin, but I never really listened to Dio. It just wasn't in the kind of the range of music that I was listening to growing up. I know some of my friends listen to Dio. I think my mum actually listened to a little bit of Dio, but for some reason I just never quite latched onto it, I'm afraid, which is a shame. But I'm going to definitely give it a go today. However, I'm going to consult my notes because I definitely want to make sure I cover everything today. But yeah, if you guys do have any more requests, get them in, and I will sort them out. Learn to Fly, Foo Fighters. I can definitely do that because that's another one that we play in New Rocks. I think I know I've got a Foo Fighters song in this, but I think it's The Pretender. So I can't do it on that. I'll have to just do it through YouTube or something, or Spotify. But that's fine either way. Yeah, so I think what was I going to say before? Because I've got the new heads on and everything like that, trying to rebalance that then with the backing track, it's a bit of a pain. I haven't really been able to do that, so I'm going to record some stuff today anyway. That's another thing I want to do, get on with today, is doing some tracks for my second channel. If you don't know, I'm going to be doing some free drum tracks for people, and then if you want the raw stems, you can download the stereo file for completely for free, no copyrights or anything like that. But then if you want the raw stems to have a little bit more flexibility with the mixing and mastering side, then it's just going to be like £2.50 from my website. So keep it nice and cheap and cheerful. Everyone get access to it, but then I get enough money to kind of keep my website up and running. Everybody wins. Do I know any POD songs? I do know a POD song or two. I think my fiance is quite into them. And there's a couple of... is it Satellites? I might be able to do that. When it comes to Dave Grohl, do you prefer him with Nirvana or Foo Fighters when it comes to the drumming? Well, as far as I'm aware, I think Dave Grohl really only did the drums for like the first album or something, was it? Yeah, so yeah, Satellites on a playlist. I must admit, I liked his drumming with Nirvana, even though like, a lot of it was relatively simplistic, and he's admitted himself that he was basically ripping off a lot of other artists with a lot of his fills and stuff like that. I think I'm trying to remember was it like disco artists or something like that, disco drummers from like the 60s and 70s. But that's where people get their inspiration from. That's how drumming evolves. Is that someone new rips off someone from the old and then puts the new spin on it, and then this next person does the exact same, and that's how the music in general, or the music industry, evolves. Yeah, so we're going to be doing some drum tracks later on for the second channel, and in doing that I can then try and rebalance everything a little bit better. Who are your top 10 drummers? Who are your top 10 drummers by Arrow, and who influences you the most in how you play it? I'm not quite sure what you mean by Arrow, unless that's a typo. who influenced you the most and how you play? That's quite a fluid question, really. Well, fluid answer, should I say, because I take influences and inspiration from various different people for various different projects. It depends on what I'm doing. But for instance, if I'm feeling in a bit more of a proggy mood, then I will look at people like Ray Hearn. I mean, I can't play anywhere near the type of stuff that he presents. But Mike Portnoy will always be top of the list, I think, really, though. By era. It's difficult to say. Again, like, if you want to really go back to my younger days, Trey Cool was probably one of the first drummers that I really kind of thought, wow, that guy's insane. I love it. Because he still is a little bit insane. And then you've got people like the Rev, who I do have tattooed on my arm. Yeah, he was a massive, massive influence on my drumming growing up in my sort of teen years and early 20s and things like that. I mean, it still is now. I'm still looking back at some of the old Avenged stuff and just kind of going, wow, I never noticed that he did that. I wasn't hearing, you know, some of the drum fills that he was doing back then because I was still early in my career. I didn't fully appreciate what it was that he was doing. So, yeah, he's still kind of taking me to school. But then more modern stuff. I quite like Alex Bent for the more thrashier stuff. 2 from Sleep Token is a really big one at the moment because it's really kind of making me want to get into linear fills and a little bit more of the gospel chops kind of side of things. Because he's just awesome, you know, and especially the new songs. I've not listened to Caramel yet. Actually, that's something we could do today, actually, is we could do like a live reaction, I guess, to the new Sleep Token song, Caramel. I've not done that yet, so that'll be interesting. Well, we've got the comments coming in thick and fast today. This is fantastic. Shane, thank you very much for joining us. Everyone, Shane, my best friend, who's also going to be one of my best men at my wedding. So that's going to be really nice. I do apologise if I've missed anyone's comments here. They're coming in a lot faster than I'm used to. But this is awesome. Please do keep them coming. Anyway, I'll tell you what. For now, let's just jump back in with another cover of some sort, and then we'll move on. I will get to requests shortly. I'm going to do them just a little bit later in. I want to kind of just do some pre-program stuff for the time being. I'm sure I added some new ones.
Try to start again. I don't want to be the one the battles always choose, 'cause inside I realize that I'm the one confused. I don't know what's worth fighting for, or why I have to scream. I don't know why I instigate, say what I don't mean. I don't know how I got this way, I know it's not alright, so I'm breaking out. Tonight.
Love a bit of nostalgia. Yeah. Right, let's get back to this. Were you a big fan of the Iron Maiden drummer and AC drummer and John Bonham? Well, again, this is like going back to some of the older bands and older stuff. I wasn't really into that kind of stuff, unfortunately. But again, it's just I was more growing up. I say my dad was listening to more things like Stranglers, Ian Dury and the Blockheads, that style of stuff. Whereas then my mum was into a little bit of Rush, Led Zeppelin, that's the one, that kind of stuff. I mean, their palettes were quite varied as well. So that's just to name a few. But they did bond over a band that I still really like to this day called Split Enz. You guys might know one of the members, Neil Finn, who started Crowded House. They obviously were very, very popular. What are your opinions on the drummer from Puddle of Mud and the drummer from Partway Drive? Okay, Puddle of Mud, very, very good band. Shame about the singer at the moment, but in terms of the drummer, I don't know his name, but I've followed quite a few of their stuff, and I think for the most part it seems relatively simple, straightforward songs. They don't really push the boat out too much. It's like kind of middle of the road rock in a lot of ways. I know some of the stuff on the albums do have a little bit of stuff, kind of little extra things here and there, but nothing too fancy over the top. But that's the sign of a good drummer, is someone who can just lay it down and create good songs. You don't need flash and someone going over the top all the time and overplaying, because otherwise you end up in Dream Theater. Partway Drive, I've only heard a few of their songs. I've done one of their songs on here. What was the song called now? Anyway, that was a long time ago. But that's a great song, and I know that they've got some really, really good stuff. There was one of their songs in particular where it was really, I know it's like aggressive, kind of like sums up the band, but this one in particular was like really aggressive, and it was just the lead singer, I think he's called Winston. It was just kind of like, it was just the shot of him throughout the whole thing. He's just kind of screaming at the camera. I thought it was absolutely amazing. But I will listen to some more of their stuff, I think. When you do your drumming, how do you limit the gain on it to where you see you're playing with your band, your playing doesn't overpower the guitar, bass player? Okay, well it's a sign of a good drummer, is someone who's self-aware, someone who understands what it is that they're playing and how that then affects the rest of the band. If you've got a drummer who just wants to hit as loud as he possibly can and play as fast as he can, and he can't keep tempo or anything like that, then there's just no point. You're not going to get any work. You're not going to be kept in the band. You have to be a cohesive unit with everybody else. Everybody works together. You're only as strong as your weakest member. So, something happened. I heard a whoosh sort of thing. And it's very difficult sometimes to find a younger drummer who hasn't got that ego. Now, I'll hold my hands up most definitely, and I'm sure Shane will back me up on this one, that unfortunately I did have that ego sometimes when growing up, because I was a little obsessed, I guess, with trying to impress people. I was more focused on people liking my drumming and thinking that I was a good drummer than really always serving the song. Certainly in a live setting, this is in the studio. It is what it is. But yeah, I really liked kind of when I grew up and I realized what I was doing. I really liked kind of pulling back and just kind of going, hang on a minute, right? Okay, I need to just sort of think a bit more about the music and what the other guys in the band are doing and serve things a little bit more. Hence why in Beyond Salvation, there's certain times where I go all out and I go hell for leather. Other times I'll bring it back and just be laying into the groove and let the guys, create the rhythm a bit more and create that sort of chuggy or something, so everyone in the pit's going, and everyone loves a good breakdown. I've fallen over my own words again. Right. I do apologise if I am butchering this name, but Zokoz or Zavok. Bonjour from France. Bonjour. Ça va? USA, UK. UK, definitely. UK all the way. You play drums, and is that what you mean? You play drums with your dad, like, or your dad plays drums as well? Yeah, Vice Grip was the one I was thinking of before. Apologies. UK here, welcome. Yes. Hello, Stracker. Welcome to the stream. Better late than never, eh? No, it's always glad to have you here. Thank you very much. What are we up to now? Yeah, Alec, most younger drummers have such a high opinion of themselves and an ego to the point where they believe that they're the best person in the band. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, that is true. It's not just drummers; it's musicians in general. I would say, you know, there is a bit of an ego there, and I tell you something. Growing up, though, a lot of that comes from the parents. It was very strange growing up, but we'd see so many we used to do like Battle of the Bands, and whilst we may have had one or two of our parents there and everything, you know, they're cheering us on from the side and everything like that, most of the time they kept kind of out of it. They would support us and cheer us on, sort of thing, but that was as far as it went, and that's what we wanted. Whereas there was other bands and stuff that their parents, Jesus Christ, they would be really getting involved, and they'd be, you know, going up to the sound guy and saying, "Oh, this needs turning up, that needs sorting out." And if there was judges and stuff like that, it's like, "Oh, you got to dock that other band for this because they didn't perform an original song, or whatever it might be," you know. And there was this ego that was being shoved onto the kids, and that was really detrimental, I think, a lot of the time. Levels off a bit. It sounds like the under mic isn't on. The snap isn't there. The cymbals are a little lost, washy. The cymbals are a little lost, but the hats are clear as day. Well, yeah, the underneath mic's definitely there. Hang on a minute, let me move some stuff around. Sorry, I've got too many windows open and everything. I'm trying to sort of see everything. Like, I've got Twitch on one side and I've got YouTube on the other. Although I don't think there's literally nobody on Twitch, which is fine, you know. It says I've got one viewer, but I'm pretty sure that's me because I'm viewing it at the same time. In my opinion, you wasn't cocky. You just weren't. You wasn't cocky. You just were the best drum locally. And it gave you a bit of an ego boost. Well, yeah, I mean, there wasn't that many drummers in the area at the time anyway. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Is it cocky to say that I've always been a good drummer? I've never been a great drummer. I've just been a good drummer consistently, I guess. I don't want that to sound big-headed at all. You know, I don't like that kind of stuff anyway. But at the same time, I don't feel like people should put themselves down. If they've got something to offer and they're good at something, you know, don't put yourself down and you know, kind of think, "Oh, yeah, well, I'm okay." It's like, no, if you're good at something, you're good at something. Oh. Huh. I touched the thing by accident. I'm a big Aerosmith fan, and I didn't know this until recently, that the band actually didn't like playing with Steven Tyler because he was such a perfectionist to the point where it affected everybody. I think, yeah, there's a lot of very successful people out there that are perfectionists, and psychotically so. And it's one of the reasons why they get that far. That's why they are so successful, because they pay attention to the details. But I don't know. Steven Tyler, I don't think he was a perfectionist during maybe the 80s or something, because he was probably too coked out of his skull to know what was going on. Steve Heap. Hi, Steve. How's it going, man? yeah, thanks for joining us. Yes. Anyway, before I get shouted at by someone, I mean, Vic's not in the chat today, so I might not get shouted at for talking too much. But in the meantime, yes, we are going to jump in with another song. So let's do it. Let's do a request. Why not? Let's have a look back through the requests. First one was "She Sells Sanctuary" by The Cult. So let me just bring this. I can bring this up on here. Okay, so yeah, I haven't actually played this song in a long time, so do bear with me, please. Also, just whilst I'm doing this, can you guys let me know if visually the camera is any better quality than it has been previously, if you can notice a difference. I've changed the setting on it so that it's registered in 4K rather than it being in HD, so I'm hoping that has some sort of bearing on it. I have no idea. Maybe a little bit more information is getting through, but we'll see. Right, let's... hang on a minute. Have I done this wrong here? Right, Seashell Sanctuary. There is like a remastered version. No, let's go with the original. Remember to turn the mic off this time. Yeah, so it's pretty straightforward and the same kind of thing all the way through. There's a couple of, you know, stops and starts kind of thing, but yeah, it's a good song. Nice little throwback. Although I think that was one of the ones that I had like a week to learn or something back when I was 17 or something. Alex, since you're a big fan of Linkin Park, what is your opinion on the new lead singer and they're trying to replace Chester with? Okay, so I do have an opinion on this. And it might be, I don't know if it's controversial or anything, but as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in the slightest, because I see the old Linkin Park and the new Linkin Park as two separate entities. It's two different parts of music, if you like. So whilst they're sort of carrying on under the same name, as far as I'm concerned, it's two different bands. So it doesn't make any difference to me whatsoever. They could do whatever they want. At the end of the day, it's their band anyway. You know, Chester wasn't the only member of this band, and if memory serves, was he a founding member? I'm sure I heard like years ago, this was before he died even, that he wasn't actually a founding member or something. Like they brought him in a little while afterwards. I might be wrong on that, but so please don't take that as gospel. But that was just my understanding. But regardless of that, as far as I'm concerned, it's two separate projects. So if I'm listening to old Linkin Park, I feel like I'm listening to old Linkin Park. If I'm listening to new Linkin Park, I'm listening to a new project, something different. So all this, you know, this drama about, oh, they've got a female vocalist, or they've got, you know, it's not the same as it was. They're trying to replace Chester. It's like, so what if they were? It's not going to change my life in any way. You know, all I get is new music, so I'm happy. I think it does seem to me that there's a lot of people out there that are just trying to find something to get upset over. They're trying to find problems where there really isn't any. So, yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't really make any difference. Do we have any more other comments? Okay, so Shane's put up, yeah, no, Chester Bennington was not a founding member of Linkin Park. The band was originally formed in 1996 by Mike. So, thanks Shane, and thanks Google. But yeah, basically, there you are. It's, you know, I understand that Chester was an absolutely huge part of the band, huge part of the sound. No one will ever dispute that, you know. And without him, it isn't the same. It isn't the same Linkin Park. I've got a fly flying around in here, or a moth or something. But again, that's why I'm sort of saying it's not the same. It's two different entities, so it doesn't really make any difference to me. But the other side of it is that there is other, you know, the rest of the band members were the other part of the sound. You know, a massive part of the sound. It wouldn't sound right without them either. It wouldn't sound right without. It wouldn't sound right without Mike Shinoda. So, yeah. Right, we've got our first comment on Twitch by the looks of things. Drum Thumping Monkey. Hello, how goes it? Pretty well, thank you very much. How about you? How are you doing? We're just doing a little bit of chatting. We'll go back to some drum covers soon. We're doing some requests as well, so if you have a request, please let me know and I will do my best to get to it. You have to understand that there's certain things that, you know, like we tried last stream we tried playing Rush, Limelight. I did the best I could, whilst I love playing prog and stuff. Unfortunately, yeah, with there being time signature changes and I don't know the song, it's difficult to keep up. Fellow drummer here, so I like to check out other drummers. Well, yes, I mean, judging by the name, I would think so, but yeah. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your days just to come and say hello. I really do appreciate it, like, massively. I am trying to get a little bit more of a following on Twitch and just try and build this community that I'm slowly but surely cultivating. You know, like, there's most people at the moment are chatting in YouTube. But yeah, I would very much like to get Twitch up and running as well and get that off the ground. Shane's asking for Avenged Sevenfold. Yes. Which Avenged Sevenfold? Again, you've got to be careful with this one because there's certain things that the ref did that I just can't really. Any song is your choice. Okay, all right, well, let's give us something a try, shall we? Did I have any queued up? I don't think I did, actually. Of all the bands for me to not have queued up on here, you'd really think that I would have had Avenged, because with them being one of my favourite songs, favourite bands even. I think I'm going to go with... What else is missing? Actually, well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to come back to Avenged because other people have made requests and stuff. So I want to get to those first if I can. All right, so we did She's Still Sanctuary. Rainbow in the Dark. Let's do that one. Now, I would like to reiterate that I have never heard this song before. So, at least I don't think I have. Once it starts playing, maybe I'll have heard it. I don't know. So, bear with. Almost cheesy. Yeah, it is very cheesy. In that case, then, let's give us a crack. very fun song. Quite enjoyed that one. I must admit, Dio, what a vocalist, Jesus. Yeah, I think he definitely had the appreciation and respect of the entire metal world because of his vocals. Anyway, Drum Thumping Monkeys, all there with the hearts, and I'm trying to look at some of those emojis there. Are they horns? Yeah. Love it. Love it. Yeah, thank you very much for the love in the chat there. Alec, is there a song that took you a long time to learn because of how intricate the drummer and his patterns are? And is there a song that you only took a couple of days to learn because it was that easy? That's a very good question. I think I've done a few Dream Theater tracks over the years, and I think the one that I probably worked on most in order to get it to the point where I felt like I could really do a proper, do it justice, and it did take me a while. It was the Count of Tuscany. Now that's like a 20-minute song, and because it was my 100th drum cover for YouTube, I wanted to do something special for it. So I asked the guys at the youth centre, my local youth centre that I used to volunteer at. I got in touch with those guys and sort of said, they've got a dance studio room there where it's got hardwood floors, and then the walls are mirrored, but the ceilings are nice and tall. Now, obviously, mirrored walls, not great for this type of stuff, but luckily they had very, very thick curtains that go around them. So with drum sounds, I tend to find you want height, not width. I don't know how to really sort of explain that, but the room sounded absolutely fantastic. So if you guys want to go and check that out, please do. I mean, I put a lot of work into that video, and it did quite well. I think we got I don't know if it's on a few thousand views or something at the moment, but yeah, I got some help from some of my friends. It kind of helping me load in and set up and things like that, because I had to get all my kit from here over there, which is just on the other side of my hometown. It's not that far away, but it's far enough that we still had to get everything in bags into the cars and over there, and we had a very short space of time to do it in. I didn't really have long really to kind of do the whole thing, including all the shooting and everything, and then obviously pack it down before day's end. And we did it, and it was absolutely fantastic. So that was a really nice experience. I really would like to do that again someday. There is a church literally just up the road there, and I messaged them a long time ago asking if they'd be open to do something like that, but they never got back to me. So maybe I can get in touch with them again. I'd very much love to do that. I want to do more Dream Theater stuff as well, because I always love playing that type of stuff. But in terms of a song that only took a couple of days to learn because it was that easy, again, I really, really don't want to sound like I'm blowing my own trumpet here and kind of being big-headed or anything, but that happens all the time. Most of the drum covers that you've probably seen on my channel are that. Certainly the older stuff, some of the newer stuff, where I kind of just come in on the day and kind of flick through my playlist and kind of go, do I know that song? Okay, I know that song, like I've heard it. I've never played it, but I've heard it. And then I'll just kind of go through the song a few times, listen to it, play it a couple of times, and then go, right, turn on the cameras, let's record. That's how it's been, really. We're doing a lot of my drum covers for the past 7 or 8 years. And yeah, again, I don't want to sound like I'm being big-headed, but that's just the truth of it. I thoroughly enjoy doing it that way as well, because I feel like I'm able to kind of listen to these songs and kind of pick out the details where I can. If I was to hear a song from scratch, like never heard the song before, and I had to learn it in one session, maybe it depends on the complexity of the song. Maybe I could do it in one day. Maybe it'd take me a couple of days of just kind of listening through it to get it to a point where I feel like I'd be confident enough to record it and it'd be entertaining for you guys at least. As most metalheads say, Dio is God. Yes, and I do believe he is. I think he's credited with inventing the horns type of thing. I think Gene Simmons tried copywriting it or something at one point. There was a bit of a farce about that, but I think the entire metal world just went, yeah, no, mate, get in the bin. No, I think Dio is credited for that. I think, like I say, he's well respected. Your toms sound different. Have you reskinned your kit recently? Yes, I have. I am using Code drum heads for the very first time. Like I said at the start of the stream, I've always played Evans. I've always had pretty much EC2s. I've changed them up here and there, trialed other ones, but I always came back to G1s on the bottom, EC2s on the top, EMADs on the kick, and I've flitted between Genera dries, HD dries, a heavyweight, and a power center reverse dot for the top head of the snare, and then it's pretty much always been Hazy 300. That's been my standard for almost my entire drumming career. And I just got to a point where I was thinking, no, I'm going to try this, change this up a little bit. Let's do something different. And then, like I said, earlier I got in touch with, I got talking to guys at Code, and got talking to Mike, the guy who runs Code. And they were just really nice enough to kind of give me an artist discount to buy these heads so that I can test them out for you guys. So yeah, I'm really excited because I've done the first half of it. I've reheaded the kit and I've done a little bit of a review so far. But the main review is that I wanted to get you guys' opinion on these heads throughout this live stream. I've done a couple of drum covers with it, and the snare's going to get an absolute bashing. Is it this weekend? I can't remember. I think it's this coming weekend, this coming Friday. I've got a gig with Beyond Salvation, so it's gonna get absolutely hammered. And I'm gonna give you guys honest feedback. Like, even though that they're giving me these guys the heads at a discount, I've not been paid to say anything, or the guys aren't gonna the guys at Code aren't gonna see the video in advance or anything like that. All thoughts and opinions of this are mine, and quite frankly yours. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Your Counter Tuscany cover is awesome. It got me back into Dream Theater. Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, I really put a lot of work into that, and I'm just so glad it turned out as good as it did. I was having quite a few issues with my GoPros at the time, and you might notice in the video, right at the start of the video, there is like 1 or 2 shots, I think, of my feet. There's like a foot cam, and then that was it. That's all you got, and the rest of it just didn't record. And I was so annoyed, even though it said on the actual GoPro that it recorded it. The numbers went up and said, yeah, it's there. As soon as I took the memory card and put it into the thing, like, half the files were lost. So I'm just glad that it did it on the foot cam and not like one of the side cams or something, because that would have been horrible. That would have been so. I mean, I still probably would have put the cover out. I'm not going to like throw away all that work and everything, but that was tough. Touch and go. The horns are older than Dio, but he popularized them. Okay, great. I learn something new every day. I think it is difficult sometimes when people throw horns up, and to know where certain gestures like that come from. Michael Bennington's. Okay, I'm back now. Okay. Hang on a minute. Yeah, I played She Sells Sanctuary, Michael. I don't know if you caught that. If not, then you're gonna have to watch the VOD back afterwards. And but it was there. I played it for you. And then yeah, it was Anthony Manzano that said "Rainbow in the Dark" by Dio. So that's why we're just kind of discussing Dio now. Let's have a look. Actually, you know what? I'm going to play a Partway Drive song because it was, in fact, Vice Grip that I really liked, and I want to play that now. So. I really need to get more songs queued up on here. I keep meaning to do it, and I keep forgetting. Oh. I'm just the worst. Yeah, a few mistakes in that one. I haven't played that one since I think I actually recorded the cover for it. Pendulum! Yes, I think we will do some Pendulum. I'm going to do some, oh, excuse me, I'm going to do some Avenged Sevenfold next. In fact, got to hydrate for the last, like, oh, what we're on. This is stream number 5. I think for all 4 previous streams, I've just not had a drink. Oh. I do want to find out what this other this other Partway Drive song was that I really liked. It's going to bother me which one it was. It was. I don't know if I'm not sure what year it came out. Was it called like Killing Gods or something? So it was definitely before 2022, but then I'm seeing, 2018, Reverence, maybe that. Wishing Wells, that was it. Wishing Wells, holy hell, what a song that was. Very powerful. Really enjoyed that one. So I'm gonna add that to my playlist. Let's get on with Avenged though. started having some issues with my sticks then after halfway through that. There's another one down. And then I think this one started on the way out and all. I do hit hard, so. I was trying to use up these old ones that have been frayed quite a bit during practices and things. But I do have some brand new ones. And I've also just pulled my thing out. There we go. Yeah, brand new sticks. I'll put these. Yeah, so I know where they are now. Those poor sticks. Yeah, I do give them a good beating. They start to fray mainly because I'm doing rim shots all the time, so I'm hitting them against metal. Yes, Mr. Bennington, I'm afraid you did. I did play it, but like I say, if you go back either on this live stream now, I don't know if you can go back and see like old parts of this live stream, or you can watch it on the VOD when the stream's over. It will get automatically uploaded to my YouTube channel, so you can watch it there. So we have had a few watchers on Twitch, which has been nice. I think I saw it go up to about 4 or 5 before, which is always nice. Like, it's nice to see, even if people just sort of like, you know, just lurk a little bit, you know, just come in for a, you know, quick nosy and then back out again. I very much do appreciate the people just taking the time and clicking on my my videos. Oh, it's getting warm in here now. Anyway, what time are you on? Blimey, it's 7:15 already. Jeez. Not had any tea yet. Anyway. Back to the pad. Yes, actually, one of the things I did want to do with this, I mean, as you can probably imagine, when it comes to these types of live streams, I'm playing covers. So automatically, these streams are going to get copyrighted. There's no other ways around it. So I do have a sponsor for this channel, and they will be doing sponsoring these live streams and stuff as well. And it's lalal.ai, and I don't know if you can see, yeah, it's in the top corner. Is it up this side? I'm making sure I'm pointing in the right direction here. Yeah, it's in the top corner there, lalal.ai. So basically, whenever you've heard me doing a cover that I've pre-programmed in, and it's got no drums behind it, it's been through lalal.ai stem splitting technology. So it's just the best one that I've ever used. Yes, it is a paid product, a paid service, but it's by far the best one I've ever used, because I've used some in the past, and holy hell, there's so much artifacting, and it just sounds like it's underwater, and it's just the quality is abysmal. Whereas I don't know what it is, I don't understand what it is that these guys do or anything like that, but like what AI technology they're using. But wow, when they split the stems, it sounds as if, I mean, there might be a few little tiny bits here and there where it's difficult to get certain parts of the song out. I mean, but it's minimal. It really is minimal. And yeah, I really enjoy using those guys because it's so worth the money. Like, it's the way they work it as well. It's like a credit system. So you just, it's not a subscription. You just buy the amount of minutes that you need, and then you can use up those minutes for each track. So if it was a 4-minute track, it takes 4 minutes out of your credit, and you just use them, and it doesn't go away. Like, you could use it for a year, you could use it for 2 years, 3 years or something, and it's just there. So yeah, I highly recommend it. If you're a guitarist that's wanting to kind of take the guitars out of a song, or if you're a drummer that wants to take the drums out of a song and you want to be able to play to it, just like I do with my drum covers and stuff, lalal.ai is the best tool that I've ever used, and I do genuinely use them. So yeah, I highly recommend you go and checking those guys out. Next thing I wanted to ask you guys, it was something I was thinking about the other day, is that one of my biggest tasks for 2025 and 2026 is that I want to really cultivate a community within this channel, and I want to hear from you guys more. And it's something that I feel like I just wasn't doing enough of for the previous amounts of time on this channel. I just, I don't know, I just kept uploading. It just got a bit stagnant where I was just uploading content and hoping people watched it and everything like that. Whereas I feel like I wasn't doing justice to you guys and what you guys wanted to hear. So whilst I will still be uploading stuff that I want to do, because, you know, it's my channel, I want to kind of put that type of stuff across, you know, but at the same time, I want your opinion, I want your input, I want to do stuff as well that you guys want to hear. So, and I want to create a bit of a support network. So if you guys are having some issues either with the drums or other types of music and stuff, get in touch. Let's work something out. So if you guys can either send me a DM or put a comment on this video or one of my other videos, however best to get in touch. Let me know what you guys want to see from this channel. And yeah, let's get it working. You know, like I said, I wanted to give something back to you guys anyway, so that's why I've set up a second channel doing free drum covers and free drum tracks. So I say free drum tracks. But yeah, I think we can do more. So I want to hear from you guys. So please do let me know. And then one of the last things I want to do, because we are coming up to nearly an hour and a half that we've been doing this. So for the last half an hour, I want to just try something new. It's something that I want to try and do in future live streams, and it's something I want to try and do as a kind of main event for a lot of these live streams, and it's creating these drum tracks for the second channel. But again, I want your guys' input. So I'm just going to try and set something up now, so do bear with me a sec. But I've already set up a small section here. Where's it gone now? So I'm hoping to be able to set this up so you guys can see this, but I'm going to have to move a few things around here. But basically, I'm going to show you guys my second screen. I think I got this set up right last time, so there we go. I'll put the chat somewhere. I have to put the chat over this side, I think, for the time being. But yeah, so you guys should be able to see Pro Tools in the bottom corner there. And the idea is that I'm going to set up a couple of things. Like I've got this one here that says disorderly, but I might do something separate for that. So I'm going to. I am still getting to grips with trying to get this all to work and stuff, and that was wayward as well. So let's just start off with wayward, shall we? So these are just tentative names. There's nothing's actually like set in stone or anything. So the idea behind this is that I want to, in real time, create new drum tracks for you guys, and you guys to have some sort of input in this. So at the moment, as you can see, it says it's at 156 BPM and it's in 6/8. That was kind of my starting place. So if I just hit record, I might have to switch these over though. And then I'm going to have to mute the vocals, unfortunately, because otherwise that means then that you guys are going to get your ears blown off. So I'm just going to mute this, and then we'll start with... I'll make a start, and then you guys tell me where you want this song to go next, basically. Okay, so now we theoretically have an intro and a verse. So that was just really bog standard, just whatever came off the top of my head. So obviously you can tell, yeah, I'm not using a kick trigger actually for this. Not really, yeah, I'm not really too bothered about that. What's being said in the chat? Nothing so far. Yeah, you guys, like I say, just let me know. What's back here? Yeah, give me some ideas. Like, where do you think they should go next? Just should I kind of double up on the drums? Should I be changing any kind of time signatures here or tempos or anything like that? Let's just let's play that back and see what it sounds like. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's. Wow, that bass drum is really boomy, isn't it? I think it's partly because it's coming through on other mics, so that's not really going to help the situation. But, I mean, if I put on a gate or something on these toms, that might just give it a little bit of help. I mean, to me, that's all. Like, just having a couple of gates on the toms has really helped with some of that extra resonance. So I think the kick drum's affecting that quite a bit there. So hopefully that's going to sound a little bit better for you guys. So hearing early noughties live in that. Live? Am I reading that right? Yeah, I mean, it's pretty sort of stripped back and laid back kind of thing. It's nothing too major and out there, but I'm just thinking I'm just going to try and go for a chorus as well. It sounds almost kind of country in a way. I'm kind of getting like a slight country vibe. Well, I mocked up a little bit there towards the end. But general premise is there. Let's move over a little bit more. How did that sound towards the end then? Okay, I think that went quite well. There's a bit to stitch up here. I can't remember if I've got everything. No, I think. Yeah, the drums need to be on their own separate grouping for me to edit this together. But I can edit it together later. I'm not too worried about that. But it's interesting. Oh, come on. Oh, that would help. Having the right tool selected. But yeah, just for the sake of this, just have a bit of a... That'll about do there. I mean, there was a bit of ghosting. There was a bit of like a flam sort of thing. I can always fix that later. And another other stitch was there. I don't think I did that right, but... I think, oh yeah, so the comes in there, that's the 1 count. So I can always just... Yeah, because if I put it there, and I did play a little bit on the previous take, so some of the toms and what have you should be ringing out. Let's see how that sounds. Yeah, it's okay. I think it'll do the trick. Maybe some of the cymbals weren't quite ringing out, but then again, I'm hitting cymbals afterwards, so it should blend okay. The snare is very, very open, like no doubt. You know, I think with typically with my snares, I tend to have quite a lot of either I have dampening on them or I have dry heads. So this one is very open. It might need a quick retune actually. Let's just do that. Alec, did I miss you play Learn to Fly by Futa? No, you did not. You missed the other one though, the Dio track. You missed that, but I'll tell you what. I'll play Learn to Fly, like pretty much right at the end. Let me just gonna quickly retune my snare. 1 sec. That should sound a little bit better. I do tend to try and get things tuned up beforehand, but so let me get this chat back up on here so I can see it properly. No, I was actually here when you played Rainbow in the Dark. Oh, well, thank you very much. Did you enjoy it? Did I do justice at least? Did you feel it was difficult to play, or did you pick it up right away? I think most of the drumming, if I'm not mistaken, in a lot of those types of songs, again, are relatively straightforward because they're not the forefront of the music. They're not the thing that the artist is trying to have in the limelight. You know, we're trying to showcase his vocals. So the drums, for the most part, in a lot of this type of stuff, are very straightforward, simple, but kind of very important because they're holding that beat, they're giving that groove, and you know, keeping a really strong foundation. So it was relatively straightforward to play. There's a couple of there's changes and there's fills and things like that, you know, which I tried doing the best I can. Because obviously I'm listening at the exact same time as playing it. So if a fill starts, I might miss the first beat, but then I'll try and fill in the rest of the time, the duration of that fill with a fill of my own. Bland and easy. Not bland. No, definitely not bland. That's definitely not the word I would use, because bland would imply that it doesn't serve the song, or at least there's nothing interesting about it. Whereas even just playing a straight 4/4, to me, that's not bland. That's interesting. It's got groove. It's got, you know, passion behind it. Whereas if I was playing, that's bland. Now, I really don't know if you can tell the difference between the two, but focus, like the punch of the kick, it's really got to be that meaty, and then you've got like the kind of, on the hats, you've got this. So it's loud, soft, loud, soft, loud, soft. That's giving you a bit of a driving force, and then you've got the backbeat, the potatoes there, which is the snare, and it's got to really thump you in the chest. It's got to be. It's got to have purpose, even if it's just super simple like that. If it's got purpose, it's not bland, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, for the first time, if you've ever played Dio, yeah, it's the first time I've ever played Dio, really, I think. Again, probably a bit of a cardinal sin, maybe a little bit controversial, but I must admit I do prefer Killswitch's version of Holy Diver. But that's just because it appeals more to my musical taste. I'm not suggesting by any stretch of the imagination that Dio's version is bad. It's because it's really not. It was amazing. You know, it's Dio. It's awesome. But I just prefer the sort of kind of what would you class even Killswitch as? Is it not new metal? What's the word's gone out my head. I can't think of it. Shane will tell me. Took my son to see Disturbed last weekend and became a fan of their opening act, Nothing More. Nothing More, that does ring a bell. I can't think why though. But yeah, I mean, if this is the thing, like, there's so many bands out there that if they're given the opportunity to open for such a massive act, like Disturbed or something like that, or, you know, I've seen other bands open up for like Avenged, but one of the ones that I had loved, because I went to see Haken, and normally I'm not really bothered about support bands. I might get there a little bit later or something like that. It just doesn't really interest me. I don't really go to gigs much anyway. But then, yeah, we were at this gig, and there's just the main support blew me away. Absolutely blew me away. They were fantastic. Really, really good. And that was Vola. They were supporting Haken at Academy 3 quite a few years back, and loved it. And I've been a fan of theirs ever since. You know, my debut single, Dark Desires, was actually heavily inspired by their song Ghosts. I absolutely loved them. And I've seen them like three times now. And they just knock it out of the park every single time. They're brilliant. But I have seen Disturbed, actually, yeah. I think when Disturbed was supporting Avenged at the Emian Arena in Manchester, he played, they did Sound of Silence, and just absolutely brought down the house. There wasn't a dry eye in the house. It was just brilliant. Led Zeppelin is the perfect example of that, because there are songs that they have that is weird metal 60s vibes to some of their songs that feel like they were influenced by Jimi Hendrix. Well, this is it. I think there's a lot of bands out there that are influenced by other artists, either something that's current, you know, like two bands or something that are kind of vibing off each other at the same sort of time, or if a band was heavily influenced by one of their predecessors. You know, and like look at Avenged Sevenfold, for instance. You know, they brought out the album Hail to the King. Admittedly, they got a lot of flack for it, because it was, they're just ripping off like Metallica and all that kind of stuff. It's like, no, they're paying homage to their idols, the people who, without them, without the likes of Metallica and stuff, Avenged wouldn't be here. You know, so it's kind of their way of saying thank you to them. But people just kept seeing the bad side of it all the time. But that's, again, I mentioned it earlier on in this live stream where, you know, a band has a particular style and sound because they're doing their own version of a band that influenced them. And then the next band after that will do the same. You know, they'll copy what they've done in a way and then make it their own. And that's just how humans evolve, you know, like that's how the music evolves. Killswitch is right in between pop punk and grunge and nu metal. I just feel like there's another genre, a particular type of, like a particular name for it. It's just going to bother the hell out of me. Yeah, I don't know why. I'm not sure if you listen to Rival Sons and Greta Van Fleet. Greta Van Fleet, I have heard them, and it, as far as I was concerned, and from what I've heard from other people, it was basically just like a new age version of Led Zeppelin. Same kind of thing with Airborne and AC/DC. It's just basically the same thing, just done by different people. But again, each to their own. If they like playing that kind of stuff and people like hearing that kind of stuff, then fine. I've got no issue with it, you know. And is that why I can't? And this is what I can't stand about rock fans. They're doing the same with Greta Van Fleet, saying they're just ripping Led Zeppelin, Iron Maiden, and Rush. Yeah. But as far as I'm concerned, like, let them do them. If that's what they want to play and that's what their audience wants to hear, then who are we to stop them? I just don't understand why people get so upset about it. You know, if you don't like it, go and listen to another band. There's plenty of them out there. That's what I mean. It seems like a simplistic way of listening to music. If you actually listen to them, they're not just a rip-off of Led Zeppelin. You can actually hear other artists. Well, yeah, like I say, everybody's got different influences. Like, you know, I was getting asked, you know, you asking me before, it's like, who are my influences on drums? And I'm damn sure that you'll be able to hear a ton of Mike Portnoy in my drumming. You know, that's just my style because I've taken influences from him and other people, and it's all been merged together, and it ends up being my style. I put my own spin on certain things. But again, I just don't understand why people get so upset about it. I just tend to not to listen to a lot of these bands if I don't like what they're doing or, you know, how they're approaching stuff. That's one of the reasons why I like Sleep Token so much, is because they don't really sound like anybody. They're doing their own thing. They've come up with their own sound. And the metal world has been crying out for this for years. For years and years and years, they've been wanting somebody to finally just come along and actually do something different and new and fresh. And then a band comes along and does it, but no, the metal world is like, oh no, they're not metal. They're no good. It's like, well, they're now the headlining Download this year. How not good can they be? A lot of it, I think, is just jealousy, which is unfortunate, but that is the way, unfortunately, these things go. Anyway, I'm just going to go back to Pro Tools for a minute. And so we pretty much have an entire fully formulated song there. Someone could do something with that. It doesn't need to be anything, you know, fantastic or groundbreaking. But again, there's free drum tracks there now for somebody to go ahead and utilize. So I'm going to get those edited down a little bit. I do like to just edit my drums ever slightly just to make sure that there's, whilst I don't want everything snapped to grid, I don't like to, you know, beat detect and get everything completely quantized and stuff like that. I want it to still be me playing it. But there might be a couple of little bits that have, you know, were a little bit ahead or a little bit behind. I just want to kind of neaten up, and that's it. That's all I'll do. I don't want to do too much to it. So they're going to get imported anyway into their own session. So that's, like I say, that's one. We could do the same with another one. I do want at some point want to do, like I say, want to get you guys involved and actually come up with some, maybe do like a poll or something. So saying, right, how are we starting off this song? Is it going to be a pop punk vibe? Is it going to be a metal vibe? Is it going to be country, or anything like that. I'll ask you guys. We'll do some polls and we'll try and see how that goes. We're having a little low on time now, so I do want to get some drum covers in because I don't want this just to be it sort of thing. So I'm going to flip these back over again. Okay, you can still hear me. Okay, so we have. It's like back when I was making comics in high school, my art style was a blend of Jim Lee and Rumiko Takahashi. Wish I still had those sketches. Rumiko Takahashi, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah, this is exactly it. It bothers me sometimes, and I'm going to get on my soapbox a little bit here, but it does bother me sometimes how people get so upset. It's like, oh, this person sounds like someone else. It's like, yeah, well, that's their inspiration. That's where they got it from. If you are just completely ripping off somebody else, almost like note for note, or ripping off someone else's artwork entirely, then yeah, maybe there's a little bit of an issue there. But if you're taking inspiration from somebody and making it your own, then yeah, that's exactly how everybody evolves. I recommend you listen to bands. These are fairly new bands. I haven't gotten into mainstream yet. Dexter and the Moon Rocks. Dexter and the Moon Rocks, and Flat Black. That's what's he called now? That's the old Jason Hook from Five Finger Death Punch. That's his band, isn't it? Because I think he left Five Finger to pursue that. I think because Andy James took over. So I have heard a song from Flat Black because I was interested in them and kind of like, okay, what are they going to sound like? And I vaguely remember quite liking it, thinking it was good, like it was like heavy, quite fast and heavy. I think I might be wrong. But Dexter and the Moon Rocks, definitely not heard of those. But yeah, let's have a look on here now. Right. Speaking of Five Finger Death Punch, I played this one. I think it might not have been the last live stream. I think I played it maybe the one before, and I played it for my fiance because she likes Five Finger Death Punch, but unfortunately I think she was going out at the time, so she was getting ready. I don't think she saw it. So yeah, I'll play this one for her now.
I'm growing so distant. Nothing
God, I don't have to like making mistakes, do I? That's why it's live. Yay! You get one take. You mess up, you mess up. Oh dear. Tell you what, I haven't checked. I haven't checked Twitch in a while. Yeah, nothing new, I'm afraid. Oh well. Right, I think we've got time for one more. Do you know what that one more is going to be? You're human, not a machine. I want to be a machine. I am the machine. No, no, I think when it comes to live streams and stuff, I don't mind making mistakes. If I'm making mistakes in my main channel videos, like pre-recorded stuff, that's when I really get sort of, you know, a little bit upset with myself. And I've done it on plenty of occasions where I've done a drum cover, thought I've nailed it, gone to edit it down, and like even at home or in the office, and then I just realised, yeah, that was awful. I've either had to reshoot it or just put up with it and just kind of go, right, it's not right, but I'll have to put it out or something because I haven't got time to reshoot it. But yes, Learn to Fly by Foo Fighters, that is what's coming up next. And that is going to be the last song, I'm afraid, for today, because I have to go home and eat some food because I've not eaten in, I don't know, 6 hours. Learn to Fly.
This could take
What a fun song that is. And usually we play that all the time in New Rocks, but unfortunately we haven't played it on the last few, I don't think. Not quite sure why, but yeah, great song. Everyone seems to love that one. Just looking at it any more I can do. I really should pack up now, but I want to do one more. I want to do one more. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm going to end it with this one. Got one more for you, because I haven't played them today, and they are my band after all, so I do like playing them. Whew. That is a very energetic song and a great closer, I think, for this stream. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining me once again, and I will hopefully be doing this again in a couple of weeks' time. I do want to eventually get to a point where I'm doing this every week. I really don't think I'm going to be able to do this multiple times a week, which is a shame, but I would love to at some point, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. But yeah, again, thank you very much for joining me. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, do all the thumbs up, subscribe, follow. Go and follow me on Twitch as well. Let's get some followers going up on there. Thank you very much. I'm really out of breath now. Thank you once again, everybody, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.